So from yesterday we resumed the discussion on Uddhava Gita in English. In between, for a few days, we discussed about Lord Ramchandra's pastimes due to Ram Navami occasion. And actually, I was giving 2 classes before, one in Bengali and one in English. Bengali in the morning, English in the evening. And Bengali, I was actually discussing about Krishna's pastimes from Garga Samhita and other Puranas. And in the evening, I was doing Uddhava Gita. But then the Hindi-speaking devotees started to request me that I also give a class in Hindi. So that was the time when I was speaking about Ram Leela. And so then I decided to, instead of giving different topics, we'll just have the same topic, discuss on the same, and discuss in three different groups or 3 different occasions a day. And today we actually thought that we will conduct the Hindi class and English class simultaneously. And while the English class will be going on, the Hindi will be translated in another channel. And Radhacharan Prabhu from Surat actually volunteered to translate the class simultaneously. So I'll just start, therefore, practically from the beginning again. And I hope everybody will appreciate that we are reiterating the English classes again after a few days of break. And we are starting from the beginning only. So Uddhava Gita is from the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And 11th canto is, you can say, is the culmination of Krishna's pastimes. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's body. Srimad Bhagavatam is also Krishna's body. And the 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam are different limbs of Krishna's body. First and second cantos are Krishna's lotus feet. Third and fourth cantos are Krishna's thighs. Fifth canto is Krishna's abdomen. Sixth canto is Krishna's chest. Sixth and seventh cantos are Krishna's arms. Seventh and eighth cantos are Krishna's arms. Ninth canto is Krishna's neck. 10th canto is Krishna's smiling lotus face. Actually, the face is the most important part of the body to recognize the person. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is actually revealing Krishna's identity. And then 11th canto is Krishna's forehead, and 12th canto is Krishna's head. So in this way you can see that 10th canto, it's gradually Srimad Bhagavatam is taking to the 10th canto, which is the most important aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then it's going to 11th canto, which is revealing the actual knowledge and wisdom, or the ultimate culmination of this transcendental wisdom in the 11th canto. And that is the first 5 chapters of 11th canto is describing King Nimi's encounter with Navajogendra. Navajogendras are the 9 yogendras, best of the yogis. 9 best of the yogis. They were the 9 sons of Rishabdev. Rishabdev was an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He was ruling over the entire Earth planet. And at that time, this Earth planet was known as Ilabrita Varsha. And when he decided to retire, he called his 100 sons and instructed them, and he handed over the kingdom to the eldest son, Bharat Maharaj. And according to Bharat Maharaj's name, the Ilabrita Varsha, which is this planet, became known as Bharat Varsha. And out of 100 sons of Rishabdev, eldest one, Bharat Maharaj, became the king of the entire planet. 9 of his sons became yogis, the best of the yogis, and they are the ones that Nimi had the good fortune of receiving spiritual instructions. And 9 other sons became the rulers of the 9 islands of this planet, Bharatvarsha. And other 81 sons became Karmakandiya Brahmanas. Anyway, so this is how 100 sons of 100 sons of Rishabdev took different aspects of occupation, different occupations. And these Navajogendras met with King Nimi. Rather, King Nimi had the good fortune of meeting Navajogendra. They came to his palace. And those days, these saintly personalities sometimes used to visit the kings. And meaning kings are the rulers of mankind, actually, the leaders of human society. And the leaders, the kings, used to receive the knowledge from them. And that's how they were able to rule their kingdom so expertly. Now, that's the difference between that time and this time. Now we can see that these political leaders or these leaders of the society, they're so intoxicated with their position that they don't really want to listen to anybody. I mean, especially the saintly people. And another problem is that in this age, in the garb of saintly sannyasis and sadhus, so many unscrupulous individuals are cheating the human beings that people don't trust the sadhus. The other day I was listening to one of our devotees' presentation in a very large audience in the social media, and he was talking about different occupations. He was talking about teachers. In a way, the teacher's responsibility is very important. But teachers, probably they are the most poorly paid. And he was telling that probably at the end of his 10 years or 20 years service, he is able to save a few lakhs of rupees. And then he was talking about a businessman. Probably he, at the end of his career, is able to save 1 or 2 crores, a few crores. Then he is talking about the unscrupulous political leaders. They make thousands of crores. Or rather, they make rather few hundred, say hundreds of crores. And then he said that the sadhus, some, he was giving the thing, some made 1,077 crores. Another sadhu made 4,000 so many crores. And then he ultimately left it to the audience. Now you decide what career you're going to choose. So the point is, the unscrupulous people, instead of giving spiritual guidance, leading the people towards the ultimate goal of life, that is to the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead, these so-called sadhus are just gaining some popularity and, cheating people. Anyway, he said it as a joke, of course. But the point is that sadhus are not fulfilling their responsibility. The sadhu's responsibility is to impart knowledge, spiritual knowledge. Materialistic people don't have the knowledge about the spiritual reality. And those who are absorbed in this material nature, which is a product of our senses and mind, involvement in this material nature, they simply get engrossed in this sense gratification. The senses are craving for gratification, naturally. Like senses want to derive enjoyment from the objects of the senses. So that's the materialistic life. But the one who has the spiritual knowledge, he understands the futility of the material enjoyment, materialistic enjoyment, and he imparts the knowledge of the spiritual reality and shows that materialistic tendency to enjoy leads to suffering. And besides that, this reality is illusory and temporary. And this will be also very clearly explained in this Uddhava Gita, in the previous first chapters. Then I will come to that afterwards. And the goal of life, the actual enjoyment, comes from being involved in spiritual activities. So, who gives the knowledge? Those who have the knowledge. People are in ignorance about the spiritual reality, so the sadhus have the responsibility to give that knowledge. But unfortunately today the sadhus are not doing that. They're simply, anyway, they're, in simple words I'll say that they're not fulfilling the responsibility of a spiritual personality. And in most cases they don't have the knowledge. They're dressed like a sadhu, but they don't have the knowledge. So if they don't have the knowledge, how will they impart the knowledge to others? And where does the knowledge come from? The knowledge comes from an authoritative source. And the knowledge comes from the scriptures. The scriptures are the authoritative source, and the teachers are the authoritative source, the teachers of that knowledge. So scriptures are the basis, and the guru or the spiritual teacher, spiritual master, spiritual guide is the authority that imparts the knowledge from the scripture to the individuals. So that is how the spiritual knowledge is actually transmitted. And those days, yes, even the kings used to sit at the feet of the spiritual personalities. And these spiritual personalities used to be renounced. They didn't have any attachment to anything. They would just travel around and impart the knowledge. That is the responsibility of a sannyasi. Travel and preach. And he is respected. Those days even the kings used to sit down from the throne, offer the throne to these saintly personalities, and sitting at his feet used to receive the knowledge. So that's what King Nimi did. He was a very powerful king. He was a great devotee of Krishna. He was such a great devotee of Krishna, when Krishna went to his kingdom, Videha, he specifically went to meet him. Krishna on his own went to meet him. That shows what kind of a devotee he was. And that personality is sitting at the feet of the Navajogendras, receiving the knowledge from them. And what an incredible knowledge they imparted. That's why 11th canto is very, very important for all of us. And then on the 6th chapter, it is describing that that Lord Brahma, accompanied by all the demigods, came to Krishna. And after offering their prayers, Brahma requested Krishna to withdraw his pastime and go back. He just very humbly submitted that I requested you to come here to rectify the terribly difficult situation of this world, and only you could actually correct that situation, rectify the situation. And now the mission has been accomplished. The dharma has been re-established once again. And the demons have been annihilated. Krishna, through his pastimes, just killed all the demons. He started to kill the demons. When he was 7 days old, he killed Putana. And then one after another demon was sent by Kamsa to kill Krishna, but they all got killed. Then finally, Kamsa arranged to invite Krishna and Balaram to Mathura and decided to kill them. And in that invitation, Krishna was requested to, Kamsa organized a big festival, Dhanur Yagya, and many kings and other dignitaries came, and Kamsa invited Krishna and Balaram to entertain them by wrestling. But eventually, when the wrestling was arranged, it was found that Krishna and Balaram, two little boys, were meant to fight with two giants of a demon, Chanur and Mushtika. Initially there was a consideration, like how can this be appropriate? Like wrestling bout takes place between equals. And here there's a little boy and there's a giant. So how is it possible? But anyway, they got into that wrestling bout, and Krishna killed Chanur, Balaram killed Mushtika. And then their three other brothers, Shal, Toshal and Kuta, came to attack Krishna and Balaram, got killed. All the other wrestlers came, they also got killed. And then Kamsa started to give order that kill these persons, imprison them, throw them out. Like he was shouting like a madman like that. And then Krishna jumped onto the dais where Kamsa was, and after a short duel, Krishna barehanded, Kamsa with a sword and shield, trying to attack Krishna, but Krishna grabbed Kamsa by his hair, dragged him down into this wrestling arena, and in front of everyone he killed Kamsa. The death of Kamsa caused Jarasandha's two daughters, who were his wives, to become widows. So Jarasandha became very, very upset, and he took a vow to kill Krishna Balaram along with all the Jadus. And he attacked Krishna with 23 Akshohini soldiers. 23 Akshohini, we can well imagine how vast was this army, how big was the army, how big was the military arrangement. The Battle of Kurukshetra was fought with 11 Akshohini in Duryodhan's side and 7 Akshohini in Pandava's side. So 18 Akshohini. The total number of soldiers were this consists of chariots, elephant, cavalry, foot soldier. That's called Chaturanga Sena. Chariots, elephant, cavalry, and foot soldier. And a certain number of these comprises one Akshohini of something like 65,000 total soldiers. And so I'm also a little, anyway, but Krishna's and Balaram single-handedly, practically two of them wiped out the whole of Jarasandha's 23 Akshohini soldiers. But they let Jarasandha go. They spared Jarasandha. And in this way, Jarasandha came 17 times and attacked Krishna. In Mathura, Krishna defeated them. Actually, in this way, all the demons were brought to Krishna to be annihilated. So this is how the demons were taken care of. And the earth was relieved of the burden of these demons. And then finally, the Battle of Kurukshetra was arranged, and in that, the final annihilation actually took place. All the remaining demons are now all killed. So then Krishna stayed on this planet for 125 years. And so Brahma came and said, please, now you can return. Dharma has been established, the whole earth has become peaceful. Now Krishna arranged to send the Jadus beforehand to the spiritual sky. Because he thought that Jadus came to assist him, so if before he leaves, Jadus should go back and then he would go. Anyway, so this is how the arrangement was made that Krishna was going to withdraw his pastimes. And so Uddhava could understand that Krishna is going to withdraw his pastimes. Therefore, Uddhava actually came and requested Krishna to let him also go with him. But Krishna suggested that, yes, a calamity is going to take place, so he should be prepared for that. That is, he become free from all attachments. Like his whole family is going to be destroyed. The whole city of Dwarka is going to disappear in the ocean. All the Jadus will die. So it's going to be a very, very painful situation for Uddhava. So that's why Krishna actually told Uddhava to withdraw his attachment, detach himself from everything material. And in course of that discussion, Krishna actually pointed out that one can have actually two attachments. One attachment is towards one's family and friends and so forth. And the other attachment is to Krishna. And eventually one has to give up these attachments with his bodily relationships. So this is the thing. One set of attachment is through the body. And the other attachment is to Krishna. One attachment is material and the other attachment is spiritual. the living entity has to have some attachments. Generally, people develop their attachment based on their bodily relationships. And Uddhava was about to face that situation. Yes, he developed his attachment to his family members and friends. It's natural. But fortunately for Uddhava, his greatest attachment was to Krishna. Just in order to understand what kind of attachment Uddhava had to Krishna, when Satyabhama was married and Krishna married Satyabhama, and she was brought to Dwarka, and generally the ladies stay in the inner part of the palace. And in Vedic culture, a male member doesn't go into the inner part where the ladies are during the daytime. So Krishna wanted to meet Satyabhama. He was kind of feeling like seeing Satyabhama or meeting Satyabhama. But during the daytime, a male member doesn't go into the female areas. So Krishna dressed himself up like a woman. And he went there. Uddhava saw him and he felt some attachment to that lady, some attraction to that lady. And Uddhava wondered, who is that lady? Because I don't feel any attachment to anyone but Krishna. So is that Krishna? Is that Krishna's Mohini Murti? The Krishna in the female form? So that shows Uddhava's attachment to Krishna. He didn't have any attachment to any woman. But here when he sees that some attachment to that woman, his immediate reflection was, since I do not have any attachment to anyone other than Krishna, then this must be Krishna himself. This must be Krishna in his woman form. This must be Krishna's Mohini Murti, that bewildered Lord Shiva. So this is how attached Krishna was. This is how attached Uddhava was to Krishna. So he is in a very, very safe situation. He had a spontaneous attachment to Krishna, and he didn't have any other attachment to anyone. But for the sake of educating us, Krishna is advising Uddhava that give up this attachment to your family and friends, because soon they all are going to die. Therefore, free yourself from that attachment, become a sannyasi, and leave them and start wandering around. And in this way, Krishna actually pointed out that we have only two options open to us. One is attachment to our relatives and friends, which is the attachment through this bodily relationship. And the other is attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the living entity's main business, especially when a living entity gets a human form of life, then he must develop this attachment to Krishna. Because the human form actually provides this inconceivable opportunity to develop one's relationship with Krishna. Other forms doesn't. Even the demigods don't have that prerogative, they don't have that opportunity. Only the human beings have that. And Krishna said that that's why the human beings are so dear to him. Krishna gave these human beings this form, which is his form. Man has been created according to the image of God. It's a real truth. Man has been created according to the image of God. Krishna has given his own form to the human beings. And this form actually gives us the opportunity to develop our relationship with Krishna. And not only this form, two-arm form, this form has been endowed with an intelligence which is extremely exalted. This form enables us the opportunity to expand our consciousness. This form allows us the opportunity to free us from all our karmic reactions. Demigods can't be free from their karmic reactions. What to speak of subhuman species, the animals and birds and reptiles and so forth. But only the human beings can free themselves from their karmic reactions. And that they can do Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Aham tvang sarva papebhyo. Sarva papebhyo means free from all your sinful reactions, free from all your karmic reactions. Not only papebhya, it's punyabhya also. Not from only the freedom from sinful reactions, freedom from your pious reactions also. But generally, people do not really worry so much about the pious reaction, because the pious reactions gives enjoyment, and one naturally wants to enjoy. Therefore, Krishna says, papebhya. You are concerned about the papebhya. But therefore, at the end, Krishna is saying, masuchaha, don't worry about it. What you'll get is way beyond this freedom from karmic reactions. It will give us not only the freedom from karmic reactions, situation in the transcendental reality, in the spiritual abode of Krishna, with him in Vrindavan. So that is the opportunity that has been offered to the human beings. So that's why this human form of life is so precious. And through Uddhava, Krishna is actually giving us that information. At some point, you have to give up all your attachments. And be a sannyasi means just without attachments, just keep on traveling. Just keep traveling. And we have seen our previous acharyas, like Madhavendra Puri. Not only traveling, he would not even ask for any food when he was hungry. Ajashito vritti, an occupation where one wouldn't even ask for anything. But you have seen how Krishna provides. Therefore, a sannyasi doesn't have to worry about his bodily maintenance. To begin with, his bodily requirements are reduced to such an extent that he hardly needs anything. And that is the ultimate perfection of life. Like to travel around, impart the knowledge about Krishna because the world needs it. And this is how Krishna will lead to Uddhava narrating one story of an Abadhuta that King Jadu met. Abadhuta means a person who doesn't have any attachment. Meaning he doesn't have any awareness of this external material nature. He behaves like a madman, just like a madman doesn't really care whether he's wearing any clothes or he doesn't care about what people are thinking about him, and he just acts in such a way that he doesn't all concerned about the external surroundings. But that situation is diametrically opposed. The madman behaves like a madman because he lost his rational ability to think and function. Whereas that is a person who doesn't have any control over his consciousness. Whereas the devotee of that nature, that status, that stature is the highest form of devotion, where his whole consciousness is completely tuned into Krishna's consciousness. He is simply in absolute love with Krishna. And therefore, being in love with Krishna, they don't have any external consciousness. Therefore, just as two opposite appear to be alike, like sunrise and sunset, two opposite, extreme opposite, appears to be alike. Similarly, the activity of a madman and the activity of an avadhuta apparently appears to be alike, but they're diametrically opposite. So in this way, Krishna told Uddhava, and then Krishna started to advise him about King Jadu, his great-great-great-great-grandfather, from whom this Jadu dynasty came, had an encounter. He once met one avadhuta. And that avadhuta, Srila Sridhar Swami, in his commentary, mentioned that avadhuta was actually Dattatreya, an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Atri had 3 sons, Shoma, Durvasha and Dattatreya. Shoma came from Brahma. Durvasha was, according to Lord Rudra, Lord Shiva's empowered potency. Dattatreya was Vishnu's. So this Dattatreya King Jadu had an encounter with this avadhuta, and he told him about 24 gurus from whom he actually took instructions. And rather he sees these 24 gurus as his 24 personalities as his gurus, and that's how he wanders around the world. So we will discuss further tomorrow. I hope Radhacharan Prabhu, the Hindi translation went on quite nicely. I'm sure it went on quite nicely.
Radhapatru is doing. Radhacharan requested Radhapatru.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.